welcome to episode 12 of the B Graders here again at the wonderful Sweet Remedy Cafe, who look after us so well. Fair bit to get through today, Matt. It is a big time in cycling. The Giro d'Italia is on.
100 years.
The 100th event. 100th event, not 100 years. They missed a few years because of the unpleasantness through the 40s in Europe. The war.
Don't mention the war.
Don't mention it. So,
and it's been done with all the Italian pink and pomp and ceremony you'd come to expect for the Giro.
Don't they love it?
They love their pink bits.
Oh, we all do. But, you know, look, a bit of Australian interest in the Giro this year. Nathan Haas being very attacking. Caleb Ewan, the nearly man.
Close.
The nearly man of this year's.
That's not how big Caleb is, by the way. I'm just saying he's close.
He is a small man, not very tall. He's not very tall at all.
Anyhow,
and unfortunately for WA's own Rowan Dennis.
WA's own Rowan Dennis.
He is out of the Giro. Had a crash on day 3, didn't recover over the rest day. Started day 4, couldn't finish in a bad way. Goes home. Now will probably get himself ready to help Richie at the Tour.
Well, I think it's a better idea that he goes home and looks after himself. I don't see any point in him riding the rest of the Giro and seeing how he goes. I think he's better off putting it in cotton wool, getting himself right and coming back. Because you never know, time trials on the Tour, he's got to help Richie. But
he goes well in a TT, and hopefully goes home and Mel looks after him.
She will.
She will. They're getting married soon. Getting married soon.
2008.
You know, and, so the Giro went up Mount Etna yesterday, the first mountaintop finish. 0-all draw.
0-all draw. No one showed their guns. Nibali stepped out, had a bit of a look. Quintana made it very, very clear he was not interested in even.
There's a pretty big headwind by all accounts going up the hill. So, you know, the surprising thing of yesterday's stage was the break that went 3Ks in survived.
Yep. Good win by the lad.
The first, it's probably the biggest win for the new UAE Emirates team that used to be the Lamprey team.
First Grand Tour win.
First Grand Tour win. They haven't really had a big win. They've had a few little wins, but that's a big win for them. So that's a fantastic effort.
But of course, you know, we saw a couple of different wins. Great win on stage 1, Posselberger, and then you had Greipel, the big gorilla, showing everyone that he's still fast. And then, of course, one of the fastest men going around for the last couple of years, Gaviria from Team
And
Quickstep.
They did it well too, did Quickstep. Cross wins, put it in the gutter.
Yeah.
Not many survived.
I know, it's easy. B graders, it's easy to sit here and say what we like, but I don't know, Quickstep, every time it's windy, every time it's flat, every time it's near a coast road, for the last, 100 years, Quickstep have gone in the gutter and blown the race to pieces because that's what they're good at now. I don't know, maybe move up the front, get near a Quickstep rider when you know it's going to be windy, because all they talked about for the entire stage was at 10k to go, there's going to be a crosswind.
Easier said than done, though.
That's why we're B graders.
That's right. We can say it, don't know if we can done it.
We couldn't have done it. We wouldn't have been able to done it. No.
Now, there's a bit of controversy on the Book of Faces last night around race entries in the new Element series. I like to call it the Fist series because you tend to go to those races and get fisted. But anyhow, the Element series, Midland Club running great races up there at Pickering Brook, but the price, my lordy, I looked at it and I had to do a double take. It's
how much?
$62.
What do you get for $62?
Well, I think you get a time trial and a road race. Now, I'm not.
So you get 2 races.
You get 2 races. I'm not bagging Midland. They do a fantastic job, and obviously the cost of running these races is enormous. And they can only, they don't want to run them at a loss, because if you run them at a loss for too long, all of a sudden there ain't no racing. But surely there must be a way that we can bring that cost down a little bit, because I don't know, if I'm a parent, got a couple of people, a couple of little uns who want to race, and I want to race myself, it becomes a pretty expensive exercise.
It does become a really expensive exercise. Like, I was speaking to a couple of people about it today, and there's 2 definitive arguments going on here. What do you get for $62.50 in the real world? You get very, very little. Like, you wouldn't go into JB Hi-Fi and expect to walk out with a load of goods for $62.50.
I get a couple of DVDs.
Yeah, but
who watches DVDs
That's
now?
Right. Netflix, Foxtel, B graders on YouTube.
Absolutely.
But then there's the other flip side of, I don't go to the movies that often with my family because it costs you about $50 or $60 when you want to go.
That's right.
But $62.50 for a Sunday race sounds steep, but ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something for free. It is a sign of the times.
Absolutely.
To run bike races in this state of Western Australia, it is horrendously expensive because the clubs, they don't run the way they used to run back in the day. They don't have the club racing to build their volunteer numbers or build their commissaire numbers. The clubs have to rely on professional traffic management people.
And it costs a lot of money.
And it does cost a lot of money. So I saw the post last night. My first reaction was wow, and my second reaction was just so that people didn't get the wrong impression, was it's a sign of the times.
It's just unfortunate, but it is the way it is. I mean, if you want to be a triathlete and you want to do a triathlon, it's hundreds of dollars to enter.
$300 or something to
However,
do the bus
they're not racing week in, week out.
They're not racing
so,
week in.
you know, it does add up. And I really have no issue with Midland, the way, you know, their costing structure. It is what it is, and they're doing it the best they can to make it as affordable for everyone they can. But surely we can, as a sport, look at it and see what ways we can do to bring this down a little bit.
Oh, I think, you know, West Cycle have got a very big job ahead of them because, like, okay, it's $62.50 this year. The downside to this is moving forward in the next few years. This year's not the problem. This year people are going to want to still race, but as time goes on, the attraction to new people joining the sport, especially juniors joining the sport, 2 or 3 kids in one family, you know, oh, there's your football boots and your footy. That's a little bit cheaper than going and racing bikes every single weekend.
Absolutely.
We have to look at what the problem is moving forward. It's not the fault of the clubs.
Nor really.
It's not necessarily the fault of West Cycle or Cycle Sport Western Australia. It's a sign of the times, but it is the job of the clubs, the members of the clubs, West Cycle, Cycle Sport WA, to find a better solution. So all of us fence sitters out there,
get off your asses and help out.
Us included.
Yep.
Got to step up and help out if we want to keep our sport on the open road. Otherwise, you're going to be racing around things like the showgrounds or the speed dome for your road races.
Absolutely, and no one really wants that.
On that one,
Guess
we
what?
have to say
Happy
a very
birthday.
big happy birthday to the man we all love in cycling, and that is Dan O'Donoghue.
Dan, we've organised you a cupcake. We've organised you a jelly
cups. We've got
But
you a love hearts.
You're not
cupcake.
here to eat them,
No.
and frankly, you're big enough as it is.
Yes.
So we'll eat them on your behalf.
Yes, I'll tell
Happy
you what,
birthday,
Dan.
Dan. You're closer to 50 than 40, and it's all down here from here, mate. So enjoy your day.
And here's the thing, I've got a photo that Dan sent me the other day.
Yeah.
That I promised would never go into the public domain.
Well, I think it
Dan
probably
knows
should.
exactly what that photo is. I'm going to let Dan sweat out the rest of this show
Could
to
actually,
see if that photograph pops
might
up.
come up at the end as a tribute
Or it
photo.
might not.
Might not.
We'll have to wait and see, Dan.
We will. Now, coming up, let me say, this Friday, I'm jumping on a plane.
Here we go.
And I'm going up to Singapore to get a ferry to Indonesia to do the Batam 6 Bridges race.
Instapro.
Instapro. I'm going to get my Indonesia on with the great Chris Glasby, the less great Greg Stoyles, the less great
Dual national champion, my
dual
friend.
national champion, and a couple of other people, Johnny Clark, Paul Proddy, Steve Bills, he's English
Bills.
anyway. We're going to have a bit of fun, thanks to Kent McCallum up there at Psycho Sport, who are looking after
Very big
us.
thanks to
We will
Kent.
give you a rundown of it when we get back, but you should really look at the events that are run up there, ladies and gentlemen. It's cheapish to get up there. They look after you, the racing is great, and then you can take the family up, have a bit of a holiday around it. I would suggest you look at it, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, really good.
Tour of Fiji in October, by the way.
Possible one
There's a
for
good
us
chance
as
we
well.
might be going there as well.
Now, a bit of results from the weekend. West Coast Masters had their first road race down at Dog Hill.
Dog Hill,
Someone
Bold
threw
Riders.
tacks on the road. There was a few.
Yep.
There was a few punctures. Someone rolled a tyre and crashed in C grade.
Shouldn't happen.
And the great Andy Brearley won A grade.
Which basically means A grade won very hard.
Well, I'm not going to touch that one. Jess Allen, the great Jess Allen, we love her. She was in China with Orica, supporting Sarah Roy, who finished 4th in the World Tour race in China. She got a couple of podiums in the stages, finished 4th overall, and now Jess is in Girona on a training camp. Oh, the life, isn't it?
The life. And of course,
life.
well done to the Wiggle team. Jolene Dora from the Belgian who rides for the Wiggle team. I mention them because it's run by the Australian Rochelle Gilmore, and of course Nettie Edmondson, who is a superstar of Australian Cycling Form World Champion, rode very well in the service of her teammate, and they took out all the fun.
They did. And speaking of results, our mate, Matt Upton, up the road with uppers. He got second in a Derny race in Holland.
Second in his first race in Holland or Belgium?
He's in Holland.
He's in Holland.
Now, it doesn't matter that the Derny race was for cripples over the age of 50.
Nope.
He still got second.
He got second.
And
have to be in it to win it.
That's right. You can only race the competition that you're racing against. And Mel Robinson, his lovely partner, Mel, we did call you old. It's because you're our age, is going to line up in her first race for the Mashlander team very shortly. Stay at the front, Mel. We don't want any pictures of hospitals from Holland.
And we had a very, very busy weekend behind us. We had the Lowry Memorial. Well done to Bryce Lanigan, who won the men's Lowry.
He got second in the crit too, Matt.
Second in the crit behind Theo Yates.
Theo?
That's the Theo Yates. You've got to sort of turn your head and sort of
Theo Yates,
I'm Theo Yates when I win a bike race. Well done, Theo. And Amanda Narby, even though
the old boiler of WA Cycling strikes
who we
again.
Love to bits, but it wasn't well advertised that she won the A-grade race.
In fact, West Cycle didn't actually publicise it. Gave a big thank you and well done to Bryce Lanigan. And crickets when it came to Amanda.
So,
Amanda, we love you. Well done.
Girl is not a four-letter word.
Well, it is.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I do, yeah. You know, and you know, we had the Lowry B grade. Oh. The oldest man in the field, the greatest hair in the bunch, the man who posts the most disgusting things on Facebook.
I blocked him.
Douglas Stewart showed the young fellas how it's done with his phenomenal sprint at the end. Phenomenal. That hair was flowing.
I'm sure Scotty can find a picture of that Doug sitting second last wheel.
Powerful ass was powering him forward, and he got to throw the hands and take home the chocolates. Well done, Douglas. It's been a long time coming in a road race for you. Also, a big well done to Greg Murison and the team in the Supercross on Saturday night at the Claremont Showgrounds. Well done to Logan Calder and Andrea Coleman. They were the winners of the A-grade men's and women's events, respectively. Yeah, apparently I wasn't there. I was getting drunk at the Hard Kits Ball. Apparently it was just a great event. Really well run. I'll be putting a number on for a cross race coming up late May. That will be funny. You might get some video of that, and you can all laugh. All laugh at my expense. Now, coming up this weekend, not much on, apart from Peel's first race of the season, Saturday afternoon at Dog Hill. I'm not exactly sure of the time start. It'll be 1 or 2 o'clock. You'll be able to find Peel districts on Facebook. Now, it's a lot cheaper to race at Peel on a Saturday afternoon, but ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing. Peel and a number of other clubs run at a loss at these events. So get involved. Go to these events, get involved, support them. Just quickly, we've said this before on the show. If you don't want to race a certain event, if you don't like the event, whatever it is, and if there's a big fraternity of people who don't want to do certain events, maybe let your club know, maybe let West Cycle know, maybe let Cycle Sport WA know, because as we've already talked about, it costs thousands of dollars to get the permits to ride out on the open road, and I know that the clubs would much rather know that they're only going to get a small turnout when before all this money goes out and agreements are signed. Well, they don't pay prize money at Peel, so it's just it's an entry. I think it all goes to a prize at the end, which is fantastic. Doesn't really matter. Matty, we've got vets this weekend. I'm not sure. I think it's Chidlow. No vets this weekend. It's Mother's Day. We don't race on Mother's Day. The vets are going to look after the mum on Sunday. Unless you're a time trialist, of course. Time trialist, Champion Lakes 20, they'll be there. Have mums. Well, they do. If you want to ask us a question, if you want to yell and scream at us, you can just go to matt1@iinet.net.au. Really? Yeah, because he's left it off. But that's all right. I didn't say .com this time, which is a plus on matt1@iinet.net.au. We have enjoyed talking to you today. Don't die in Indo, Toggers. I'll do my best. I won't be able to do this without you. Well, you'll find someone. matt1@iinet.net.au. We are here for you. Send us your feedback. We enjoy getting it. We treat it with the respect that it requires. Dan O'Donoghue. Well done, mate. Happy birthday. Jelly. Yum, yum. Cheers, guys. Oh, it's good.